Welcome back to Animal Crossing New Horizons. I'm Dear Darling, and shall we see what's going on our lovely island of Fawnhallow today. Sorry, starting off with a cough. I've got a towel on my head, straight out of the shower, as you do. It's making it sound like a vlog of my life or something. You know, those TikToks. I say you know those TikToks despite the fact I don't actually use TikToks, and thus do not know the TikToks, but I like people's like rise and grind routine or something, but here it is, it's place of Animal Crossing at like 11:30 p.m. Not quite. I'm just checking out if the sound is working. It seems like it's fine. Good evening everyone, and I'm Fawnhallow. It's 11:25 p.m. on Monday, October 7th, 2024. Fishing tourney, which we will not participate in. But yeah, what was I going to say? Oh yeah, late today, not because of D&D. It was actually pub quiz day, and it was actually an incredible time. Where this is probably the best we've ever done on a pub quiz on our team, because I've spoken about this pub quiz before. I mainly have as a huge RNG element in it, where basically there's how many rounds in total? 5-6 rounds or something. 5 rounds in total. With scaling with points that increase like round on round, kind of. The third round is actually worth surprisingly little amount, now I think about it. I guess it's just more questions now I think about it. There's double questions in that round. But in the final round, what basically happens is for the first 10 questions of the final 20 questions, if you are the fastest team to answer, you can basically spin a wheel. And the wheel, there are 6 rounds now I think about it, technically. And wheel basically means it's got a load of different like things it can land on, and it will go first, second, third place, -10, -5 points. And basically you spin the wheel, and if you land on any of those places, your team gets put into that position. So you basically get this, your score is set to whatever the first, second, third person is, +1. Which is obviously an incredibly crazy rubber band mechanic, and we won twice basically because of it. Like the first time we won was just like a crazy rubber band. We didn't really know what we were doing, and we just got in a crazy like first place roll on it, and then we just played reasonably safe and answered okay-ish well in the final round, enough to secure first, which was insane. And then the second time we won, it was definitely a bit more luck based, but to be honest, we actually played quite well in the final round, to be honest, because we got 2 goes at the spin of a wheel, and honestly we did pretty well in the last round. It was like the only round we did pretty well in, I think, but today was probably the best we've ever done, just sort of like naturally. We always joke being like, oh yeah, we're never going to be the ones who are like in the top positions by the time the wheel comes spinning round. But this time we were actually like in top 3, I think, going into the final round. We were like, I think this is the highest we've ever placed in the final round. And then the wheel rounds came and went, and we got the wheel twice. One of them didn't move our position because we were already in third, and the other time we got moved from third to second. It only gave us 36 points, and seeing as the final scores were like 600 was a winning score. It's that's 30 sounds like a lot. That's actually only 2 questions right, basically, in the final round. A bit over 2 questions, so really it wasn't actually that huge a boost for us. And we calculated that if we didn't actually get that wheel spin, we would have been joint second, or we would have tied with a current third place score. So really, we were just like mad impressed with ourselves, because we were just like, this is actually like legit the most we've ever earned this. To be fair, the team who got in first just absolutely popped off that round. They are regulars. We've never seen them win before, but they've been there a few times, but this time they absolutely just popped off. They did insanely well. They were basically in the lead for the first 5 rounds, and then the 6th round of catch mechanics, they basically held their lead really well, and we tried to fight for it, to be honest, but we were still 50 points behind them at the end, which is insane. Like we would have to get like 4 more questions right that they didn't get right for even a chance at beating them. So they clearly just absolutely popped off. They knew exactly what we were doing. That was their moment to shine. And more power to them. You know, we've been to this pub quiz enough that we recognise quite a lot of a team. I'm obviously not going to save them here, but we recognise some of the regulars who come back, and we're like regulars now. We have our own table. Like, I came in early and I was just like, oh yeah, I didn't realise none of my friends here. Normally I come in like second or something, and then you know, I was just talking to what's it called for a person who runs a pub pub owner, I guess. And I was just like, oh yeah, where are we sitting? And she's like, oh, I think you're in your usual seats. And I was like, whoa, we have usual seats? Is that your table now? And I was like, we can claim it. And to be fair, it's one of the nicer tables because they have like the sort of like padded bench seats rather than the separate seats. So yeah, we've definitely been there enough that we can, but I guess we recognise both style for one, but two, yeah, hold on. I was just trying to think. I'm doing shiny colours at the same time. And I was just trying to think, was it, if it's a new patch tomorrow or not. I think it is a new patch. I'm not sure though. Yeah, so we've been there enough to be regulars, to recognise the names. And we know not who our rivals are, but the people who we had to fight against pretty well. But it was never this group. But to be fair, I think the other times we've seen this group participate, there was only like 2 of them. This time there was 4 of them. Or 5 of them or something, popped off. So more congrats to them. That was the most earned victory they had. And we even said as a group, we were just like, if we won that in the end, we would absolutely rob them because they were just doing so well the entire night. In fact, they were doing so well. There's one round which is basically meant to be a huge catch-up round where any team can guess, and then whoever gets the closest answer gets 50 points. There's 2 questions in that round, but the guessing questions are like always like really difficult ones, like ones which no person would conceivably know. The first one you might conceivably know if you knew your US history, but it was like, when did New York City stop being the capital of the United States? And my reaction was, I didn't even know it was a capital of the United States at any point. But the answer was like 1790, and we actually got that one because we guessed 1810. And we were like, wow, that's pretty good. Was it my guess? If I would have guessed like mid 1800s or something, but it was another friend's guess, and we were like, sure, that sounds right. Why not? A lot of the times you just sort of send it, and then you just celebrate the ones you get right, and then when you don't get it right, it would be like, oh, it's just a guess. But the second one was a crazy one. It was like, how many times was the phrase "oh my god" said in Friends? And we were like, I mean, it gave us, it was like 10 seasons of Friends. I don't know how many episodes there are of Friends. Let's see, how many episodes of Friends? 236. Apparently the answer is like 1,000 and something. So it means it said at least, on average, about 4 times per episode, which is insanity. What can I say? How many times, oh my god, in Friends? Janice only saying a word, oh my god, 16 times in Friends. What? Yeah, 1,069, which is crazy. Apparently Rachel said it the most. So yeah, I mean, someone sat down there and like counted it all out, which is crazy in its own right, but yeah, obviously these are not things that you're meant to guess. But anyway, the team that was in the lead were doing so well, they were literally 100 points up, I think, on the second place, such that the Quizmaster, I guess to keep things fair or keep things competitive, was just like, you're locked out of doing this, which is fair. Well, it's not fair, I suppose, as in it's like not a just way to do it, but also at the same time, it's not like this quiz was particularly fair in the first place. I mean, the last round is basically a big wheel where it's random chance if you catch up or not. So we're not really working under the premise that this is a particularly fair quiz in the first place. It's just kind of like, I'm not sure if amusing is the right word. We were just like, whoa, never have we seen a team do so well that they were locked out. From any further quiz stuff. And we were just like, whoa. Just completely locked out one round. To be fair, they look a little bit miffed. Not like that annoyed or ticked off or anything. But they certainly look like, hey, what's up with that? And we were just like, what's up with that? One of my friends even said about another friend, was like, oh, if this happened to us, he would be absolutely livid. And that's honestly the truest thing I've ever heard. A call out and a half. Yeah, I don't really remember where I was going with this. Just sort of like, it's incredible that team was so far ahead that they managed to demolish despite having a disadvantage and despite, you know, the insane comeback mechanics which were in the final round. They held their own, and if they weren't there, we probably would have won, to be honest, because that was the best we've ever done, which is crazy, you know. Crazy to think. Not crazy to think that's the best we've ever done, but sort of, like, I don't know. Just like we were impressed with ourselves, if anything. You know, I was happy with our performance. It's also like the second time in a row that Chappelle Rowan's "Good Luck Babe" song came on as one of the questions. Because the first time, I can't remember when it came on. I think it was in the section where you had to fill in the lyric. And this time it came on in a quiz. It was part of I actually really like this round. I think it's a very funny round, despite the fact I'm not very good at it. Is where the quizmaster will just play a recording of someone reading out the lyrics in a plain, monotonous way, like with no sense, with no rhythm whatsoever, and you had to figure it out just from the lyrics. And it was crazy because that part came on, of course, Good Luck Babe, Chappelle Rowan's lyrics, and I was like, I recognise these lyrics, but I have no idea what the song is. I can't remember what part it was, but like the last thing was like, I don't want to call it off or something like that, right? I don't want to call it off, you just want to call it love, something like that, right? Which part was it? I think it's that I'm cliche, who cares, it's a sexually explicit kind of love affair. And I cry, it's not fair, I just need a little loving, I need a little air. I think I'm going to call it off, even if you call it love. And I think that's when it cut off, and I was like, I recognise the lyrics, but I don't know them that well, because I don't know the song that well, but it's probably my most... Is it my most favourite, like, modern song, which I randomly only heard through my friends? It's either that or it's Espresso by Sabrina Carpenter. Those are both really good songs, I would say. It's cool and that say that we are nothing but the truth. Sorry. And that song was basically stuck in my head for the rest of the quiz. We did decently, I think, on the final round. I guessed 2 of the questions because we were just like, it's a weird position to be in for us to be like, we're somewhere around 2nd or 3rd place, which means we need to make some big plays to actually get to 1st. But the thing is, it's difficult to guess on the wheel round if you don't know the answer, you know. Like, there's no point guessing unless you're like in like 6th place or something. But we were like 3rd, and we're like, we can actually do reasonably well there. But we're very consistent, at least getting a couple rounds of a wheel in. We got it in twice. We could have got it for a 3rd time, but I'd misunderstood one of the questions. What other rounds have we got the wheel in this one? I don't remember off the top of my head. I do remember some other questions. But one of them that I threw, which is the one we should have got a wheel round, was basically if someone gets gets money, they get £1 for every year they were alive. How much money would they have at 5? And I thought it said they get £1, not for every year. Like, I didn't mean it as in they get £1 first year, £2 second year. I thought they got £1, £1, and I was like, why is the answer just not 5? But what it meant, it was like they get £1, £2, £3, £4, £5. And if I had understood that as a question, I would have very quickly got 15 as triangle numbers. First 15 triangle numbers are easy because like 1, 3, 6, 10, 15, 21, 28. That for some reason is like born into my head. It's like buried into my head. So that one was like, we definitely should have got that. Because my friend actually worked out pretty quickly, but he doubted himself, you know. Which is easy to do in these sort of quiz situations. You just got to send it sometimes. Sometimes all you need is someone else to go, yeah, go for it, send it. Because sometimes it makes a difference and sometimes it doesn't. I forgot what I was going to say about this. The other question I remember I threw, it was a dog breed one, which I'm actually going to look up now. Shetland sheepdog compared to rough collies. Because it was a picture of a dog and it said, what's the first letter of a general word for this breed? And I looked at it and in my head I was like, I think that's a Shetland sheepdog. So I immediately clicked S. And then I looked at it again. Then I thought about it a bit more and I was like, that also could have been a rough collie. I don't actually know the difference visually enough between a Shetland sheepdog and a rough collie. And even now looking at the difference, they look pretty similar. Versus Shetland sheepdog. What is the difference between the two? I mean, this one looks very different. Sheltie versus collie. So afterwards I was just like, when it was counting down, like I answered so quickly, I was just like, wait a minute, that might have been a rough collie. Looking at these pictures, I forgive myself for getting it wrong. These are two very similar looking dogs, to be honest. They even have very similar stats here. They're both intelligent dogs. Although Collie's a bit more stubborn, apparently. They're both family friendly. Grooming needs moderate. Collie needs slightly more exercise a day. The Collie's slightly bigger. To be fair, these pictures of a Sheltie look very different from what I imagine. The pictures of a Sheltie are more like the ones I see here. And this one looks so much like a rough Collie. Like, I don't know the difference between this and a rough Collie. I guess Shetland sheepdogs have darker fur. Like this one, like the shaved Shetland sheepdogs, look much more sheepdog-ish. That looks more different, but one may have long fur. Is this a Shetland sheepdog? I thought this was Australian sheepdog. Oh, there's different types of Shetland sheepdog depending on their colours. I'm looking at a sable Shetland sheepdog. Maybe not a sable one. Yeah, I'm looking at some of the sable Shetland sheepdogs. I forgive myself. That looks a lot like a rough Collie. Like, and in a quick glance, when you have about a second to try and answer quickly in a quiz, I think that's pretty reasonable that I got those two confused. But yeah, the thing that tipped me off afterwards, that made me think about it, was just like, why would I ask for a general name for it? And I was like, oh, it's probably because it's a Collie. I mean, I know Shetland sheepdogs are, I guess, technically sheepdogs, but it didn't feel right asking a question that way for that one. I will say it was one of the fastest answers that we ever got in on a question. It was one of them which my friend who loves nature would probably be very proud. But there was a question which is basically, which of these birds, there was like 6 birds that were put there, like which of these birds are in the same member as the crow family? And then me and my friend both put in the answer simultaneously. I clicked jackdaw raven and he clicked rook. And it was just like immediately boom boom boom. I remember we were like, that's it, that's done. We answered in like less than a second, like 0.5 seconds, because we both just like tapped them and the ones we knew immediately. So I was saying that was probably the fastest we've ever answered a question. That's why I was like, we were kind of popping that day. If only, I mean, it's just we were popping, but the other team was just like super popping. Sorry, I'm opening Hoyo Play. And sometimes that happens. Sometimes you do your best, and sometimes another team someone else just does even better. Oh, it's just life, you know. Still happy with what we've done. We got a bottle of Prosecco though, so that's pretty good. Can't complain about that. But on that note, I guess we'll round this episode up here. I'm not sure what I'm going to title this episode, but we'll figure it out. So, if you have been watching, thank you very much. It's been Animal Crossing New Horizons. I've been Dear Darling. Likes, comments, subscription, shares, greatly appreciated. Socials, Discord down below. Hope to see each other again, but for now, it's our farewell. So until next time, bye-bye for now.